Hi, my name is Ryan Freeman, and you are watching another collaboration video with Marco Reviews. Thank you for stopping by. If you would like to watch the video that I am responding to, click that link up above. It'll take you to Marco Reviews' video that he talks about universal basic income. You can see him wearing that young 2020 hat. He obviously supports that politician who sort of runs on that platform of let's guarantee every citizen in America an income so that they can just relieve themselves of the basic necessities. And that's an idea that is sort of a hot topic. And so whenever you do a political topic like this, there's going to be a lot of people on both sides that are going to be pretty staunch in their positions. I'm not very staunch because I'm not an expert. Sometimes there's a little benefit to being in the middle because you can sort of play with both sides. So, Marco Reviews thought and has expressed his opinion that with universal basic income, if every citizen in America was guaranteed $1,000, they could cover their food, cover their clothing, and be less beholden on toxic people that they might be dependent upon, be that a spouse, a family member, or a boss. So yeah, I agree. I think the worst situation for anyone, any human, is to be trapped. And the best situation for any human is to be free. Freedom is the most important thing. I've spent time in jail. And goodness gracious, when you get out of jail, you don't care about, it's nice to have all the comforts, but you just care that you can walk where you want to walk, that you can look at the blue sky, that you can skip and no one's going to stop you. Freedom, until you have that taken away, you don't really realize how valuable it is. And when you are economically dependent upon, a job, I want to close this window because the gardeners are coming by. Sorry about that. If you're dependent upon a job that you hate, but you have to do it, it's sort of like you're trapped. And I think a universal basic income that covers the necessities would allow people to pursue careers that may not be the most lucrative, but at least makes them feel good. And we will not have a happy world if people aren't doing what they love. I'm sorry, that's just the way of it. If you see a child that's happy, it's because they're playing their favorite game or they're with their favorite people. But the gardeners are really making a lot of noise, so excuse me, I'll just try to bear with it. We need happy, free people if we're going to have a happy, free world. And when we feel trapped financially, it really is grim, right? That's when marriages break up. That's when friendships start to crack open, when the finances come into it. Now, let's just play devil's advocate. If we give everyone money, aren't people going to be lazy? Well, yeah, probably a lot of people will be lazy. But what can we do? What can we do? You're never going to have a perfect policy to fix the world. That's just the way it is. And you're going to have to take a gamble on some situations. And then another argument against universal basic income would be, well, they didn't earn it, You got to earn your bread. You got to earn your living. And I think there is definitely something to that. The money that you earn definitely feels, you feel more proud, you feel more accomplished with it. But I think, and so Andrew Young, I haven't listened to him in a while, but I had heard an in-depth interview a couple years ago where he said automation is robbing people of good income jobs. And so, and even before automation, technology, if you go all the way back to in the Industrial Revolution, when that was first happening, people were scared of the Industrial Revolution, but the promises of progress were, don't worry, the machines are going to do all the work, and then everyone's going to be well taken care of. And what ended up happening was, yes, the machines did a lot of the work, but other people just got really shitty jobs, in these factories and crammed into these cities. And all of that wealth didn't get spread out evenly. It got allocated more towards the richer people, the people who own those machines. But that wasn't the original promise of the Industrial Revolution, to my knowledge. And the same thing with this automation. Yeah, automation is making everything easier. It is going to increase wealth overall. But where is that wealth going to go? We live in a system, and there is no perfect system. So I'm not. It's not like I have the answer. We live in a system where the wealth is continually, year by year. I mean, that's the stats that continue to come out in the news. That the wealth keeps going to more and more, to fewer and fewer individuals, and good wage paying, livable wages, good livable wages, disappear, and there's a lot more service jobs. And my fear, and maybe this is a slippery slope type of thing, argument, but my fear is that if we don't do something to address how technology is radically changing the job market and opportunities, then all of my grandchildren or children are going to end up working in an Amazon warehouse. And I don't want that, I don't, and no criticism to anyone who does that job. But I just feel that we are given such a gift of human life and the ability to be creative, the ability to be spontaneous, the ability to be free is something that anyone who would like that, I hope that they can have that. And the more people that have that, I believe it's a better world. And so we need to address these massive growing companies that are crushing it with technology, but opening up these massive warehouses and, all these like little mom and pop jobs. There used to be tons of them in my hometown where people just worked in a little retail store, but they made a really good wage and they had great service. But then they sort of got destroyed by Costco or Walmart and now Amazon. And, I'm not trying to bash technology. I mean, it's just, it's here. But of course, we need to adjust to it and sort of look at what's happening. And then I just wanted to say something about capitalism in general. Is the person who invented the board game Monopoly? Every American knows Monopoly. It's that game where you buy property and you compete against players and you charge them rents, and then whoever has all the money at the end is the winner. Well, the person who invented Monopoly, I believe it was a woman. Wikipedia this, fact check this, who wanted to show the problem with capitalism because eventually one person ends up with all the money. So the creator of the board game Monopoly, maybe it was the prototype of Monopoly that they created, but where Monopoly comes from, it was a game to show how terrible capitalism is. Because as you can see, the money is just shifting and shifting, although we, as a mass, we do live quite wealthy in many respects, but more and more of the bananas are being eaten by just a few of the apes. And I like to use this ape and banana metaphor because if you lived in a world where one ape had 100 banana trees and 100 other apes were confined and working for him, and they only got to eat one banana, those apes would tear that other ape apart, and we are primates, and we feel a sense of something ain't right, and like I said, I'm not bitter at people who have been successful. I'm not advocating any sort of revolution or anything like that, but I do think that there needs to be some solutions to the way that technology is transferring the wealth more and more, and capitalism in general more and more, into the hands of the few versus just sort of more of an equal spread. Animals, give one dog half a bowl of food, give another dog 2 bowls of food. It's not going to go well. And that's just a fundamental fact. and we're all human, and in my eyes, guys, in my eyes, it's just crazy, that we don't have free access to the earth. Some guy's got 1,000,000 acres. That's his land. And you can't find a patch of earth to plant a head of lettuce until you work for a job that you hate, that you got to get all of these, that they're going to measure your urine and make sure you don't, do marijuana, or they're going to control you. And then you're going to have to work and save up for 30, 40 years to get a little patch of land. I mean, it is what it is. You got to make the best with what you got. But it does seem like the human system is a little out of wonk with sort of nature. And I know we're sort of, we are nature, but there is something a little wonky about that. I guess I'm sort of going off topic, but I guess one more thing, because it just came to me. In Scandinavia, they have, I don't know if it's every Scandinavian country, but a lot of them, I've met some Scandinavians, they've told me about this. They have this thing called all man's right. And it's like every Scandinavian, every members of these countries have access to the earth. It doesn't matter if they're rich or poor. They have access to camp anywhere. Even on a really rich, like let's say, in Texas, most of that land is private and you got to pay, or they're going to shoot you. You could just go and camp there. Now, maybe that's terrible. Now we're getting into the whole thing with private property, and that's a big can of worms, and honestly a topic I have to do a lot more research. But I just feel that a lot of people feel that there is some sort of unfairness, and perhaps a universal basic income, see, back to that topic, might be at least a step towards addressing it, and it probably will create more problems that will need to be addressed. And honestly, guys, this is way beyond my knowledge, but I just thought I would just share my thoughts, for good or ill, and you guys can you can just excoriate me and chastise me and give me a good thrashing down below in the comments for my stupidity and naivety. Okay, guys, thank you for Marco Reviews for making this topic, and thank you for watching and listening. I will see you next time. My name is Ryan. Bye.